of A Course in Miracles? Okay, and your name?
Lisa.
Okay, Lisa has heard of A Course in Miracles. Anyone else? Roberta's heard of it. Okay, great. So let's just get right into it. There's some history to how the Course came about. And as you can see in point number 2, the person that this came through was actually an atheist. She was a psychologist, medical psychologist at Columbia University. And there was a lot of conflicts in the department. And so these two people here, William Thetford and Helen Schuckman, they said, we need to come up with a way to get rid of all the conflict in our department. So she said, okay, yeah, let's get rid of the conflict. And so we can see here in point 2 that she started to have dreams, psychic experiences. You know, she says she was an atheist, didn't believe in anything spiritual, God or anything, but she started having these visions. And as it says here, 1965, there was a voice that said, "This is a Course in Miracles, please take notes." So for the next 7 years, they began to take notes for these voices that they heard. And, you know, she wrote it down, and it eventually became a book that in 1972 began to become quite popular. So A Course in Miracles has actually 3 different parts. There's the actual book, and then there's a manual for teachers, and then we're going to get a taste of the workbook. You know, because we've got practice and we've got theory, and some of both is useful. And me personally, I like to go to YouTube. As you can see to the right, they have the entire book on YouTube. And I like to play it as I go off to sleep. Some pretty incredible things happen as the knowledge starts to penetrate in the subconscious as opposed to my conscious mind. Let's see here. So, it's called A Course in Miracles, so it stands to reason that we need to know what a miracle is. Who'd like to tell me?
A receptional things happen. A receptional thing happen in your life.
A reception?
Exceptional.
Exceptional. An exception.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, like you win the lottery.
No, lottery. I'm not talking about
What is it? What's
something happens you can.
out of the ordinary? Some really.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think the lecture from Umberto, it was about miracles.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it says that there's no miracle. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So we have a.
So he exposed some that Jesus, some things Jesus did and that they call miracle, and there's always something that was from the person that was ready to get rid of the big disease. You know, they accomplished the time that he had to suffer. That's why Jesus says, if you are sick, I'm going to alleviate your disease.
Mm.
So I'm going to cure you. I'm going to alleviate.
Okay. So you're basically saying it's a natural occurrence that it appears extraordinary, but it was time for it to occur, so it just. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your name?
Eliana.
Eliana. Okay. All right. So in A Course in Miracles, well, this takes a little while to get to what, there's a lot of, this is a busy slide. There's a lot of this, that, the other, before we actually get to what A Course in Miracles calls a miracle. And it might be useful to come back to this because it's maybe a lot, but technically, if we just go all the way to the end, it says that, what does it actually say that a miracle is? Does anyone see? What does it say?
Changing perception.
Yeah, in this, it's a change in perception. So it might be better if I continue and come back to what it thinks a miracle is, and you know, we'll get to that a little later. So let's move on. So, yeah, so A Course in Miracles teaches that there are only two thought systems, okay? And who would like to tell me what those two thought systems are? What's your name?
Mine?
Yeah.
Deborah.
Deborah. Hey, it's been a while since I've seen you. So what are the two thought systems?
Perception and knowledge.
Exactly. So, Alicia, can you tell me one thing about the world of perception? What is one thing about perception? Maybe just read one of the bullet points for me.
The body-mind sees separation from God and from one another.
How about it? How about that? Okay, so if I see separation from self, so that's probably what we're talking about. If we're talking about perception, not knowledge. Okay. Would anyone like to read something about knowledge? What is knowledge, according to A Course in Miracles?
The real world, which reflects truth, can be seen only through spiritual vision and not through the body's eyes.
Ah, yes. Okay. So we don't really need to belabor all of the points, but we need to be clear that there's two different thought systems. There's the perception system, and then there's the knowledge system. So let's move on. Let's get on to something called forgiveness. Okay, I have some problems with this. So would anyone like to read number 1 to me? What does number 1 say?
Let go of the past with its burden of guilt and grief.
Yes. And number 2 is especially tough for me. What's your name?
Carolina.
Catalina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Forgiveness means recognizing that what you thought your brother did to you has not occurred.
Right. Right.
Like forgetting what you forget.
It's kind of tough, isn't it?
Sometimes you forgive, you cannot forget.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is tough. You know, I have to leave it to you guys on this slide because this one's tough for me.
Why is it tough for you?
Oh yeah, the next slide. Because when I saw this, I wrote to a lady who channels Nikola Tesla, and I asked her a question. She was in Costa Rica. She got on a plane and thought about my question, and she flew to Sarasota, and she wrote the answer. So you're going to see her answer to me on the next slide. But right now, let's see. I'm really impressed by this one right here, the point number 1 on the other side. It shows us only extensions of love or the call for love. In other words, every act is either an act of love or the call for love. That's what it's saying. That's the only thing that's really occurring, even though it looks like lots of other things. But A Course in Miracles simplifies it. Now this last thing. Vondelay, do you want to read the last thing there?
On the number 2 or number 3?
Number 2 right over there in the black.
By changing our perception in this way, we can remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which the Course says is our natural inheritance.
Okay, so we've been through all this about forgiveness, and I think it was you. What was your name?
Carolina.
Catalina. You.
Carolina?
Oh yeah. Okay, okay, got it. Yeah. Catalina. You were the one that read too about what forgiveness says. Your brother did something that's not occurred.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what happened. Is that here's what we actually see before we get to what this lady wrote to me. It says, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Okay? So maybe we might think that getting back at someone or not forgiving them is we're going to get them and then we're going to get peace. We got the vengeance, whatever. They serve justice on them, whatever. But nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Okay, so I hate to keep harping on this, but does anyone know who this person is right here that we're looking at?
A monk.
Hmm?
A monk.
Yeah, this is a monk. What's his name? Okay. Quang Duc. He was a Vietnamese monk, and Vietnam was being dominated by Catholicism, and the people in power in Vietnam said, we're going to oppress the Buddhist religion. As soon as it happened, no delay, he went out, poured gasoline on himself, set himself on fire. But if you notice, he's not moving. He's on fire, but he's not moving. Okay? So this is a testament to a person who's not threatened because he knows what's really real. Okay. In point 3 here, under the unreal world, it's a world of appearances, of birth and death and constant change. So it looks like, oh my God, I'm dying, I'm on fire. Oh my God, someone get some water, let me roll, let me put out the flames. Down here, constant, timeless, and eternal. So this person is in the real world and everyone else is freaking out because they're in the unreal world. All right. Now, there was a very important person who came here. He's famous, Amit Goswami. He's appeared in What the Bleep. He was interviewed in What the Bleep. He runs a university in multiple countries teaching the quantum nature of reality. You know, one of the world's greatest people. So he came here to this place and he gave a talk. And this slide was in his talk. And he divided reality into 2 segments. There's the domain of potentiality, and then there's the domain of space-time. Okay, so you can see that there's the domain of potentiality versus space-time. So space-time is where things are moving, right? You know, you got planets moving and cars and people on fire, burning things are moving and all this. But then we have the domain of potentiality. Okay, so the key thing here, though, is that, I'll point to it. It says choice and collapse. So we're going to really get to something interesting now. Let's see here. It's called projection makes perception. So now I want to go back to this. So one of the world's greatest quantum physicists sat right here and said, choice and collapse. So does everyone see the relation between the domain of unlimited potential and the world of perception occurs when there's a choice and a collapse into this? That this appears real, but it's really the domain of potentiality that preceded it or is superior or constant or timeless or eternal or love, blah, 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 however you want to put it. Okay, so this becomes kind of important. So, who would like to read number 1 here? Number 1, Diane. Is it Denise, I'm sorry. Yeah, could you read number 1 for me, please?
We look inside first, decide the kind of the world we want to see, and then project that world outside, making the truth as we see it.
Yeah, so inside first, decision, projection. Inside first, potentiality, decision, choice and collapse, perception, space-time. Okay, so Amit Goswami came here and he spoke in quantum technology about it, but A Course in Miracles in 1972 was basically saying the same thing. All right. So, I don't know, we could keep going through the rest of this, but it's really just an expansion on the first one there. Yeah, we could go through the rest of it, or we could, number four. Forgiveness. What a coincidence. But anyway, isn't this interesting? Because I was having problems with forgiveness. And number 4 is saying, all this we must learn to forgive, not because we are being good and charitable, but because of what? Yeah. Okay. All right. And again, we defined a miracle as a distortion of perception. So number 5 says, we have distorted the world by our trusted defenses and therefore are seeing what is not there. As we learn to recognize our perceptual errors, we also learn to look past them or forgive. Okay, so here we go. Someone asked me about me and forgiveness. I'm sorry if this is too small, but so this is a lady that channels Nikola Tesla. And I wrote to her saying, I'm reading from A Course in Miracles, and the second bullet point says, forgiveness means recognizing that what you thought your brother did to you has not occurred. And then I asked her, how can that be the case? For example, your brother, your favorite brother, not just any brother, but your favorite brother was murdered by someone. How could anyone say that did not occur? And she told me, I felt the Buddha bliss 4 times in my life, and one of them was when I forgave the person that murdered my favorite brother. So I was like, well, let's see why that could be. And then, of course, she says to me, I understand your position. The ACIM quote is not easy to ingest. I always come back to the fact that we are living in a paradox and there are different answers that apply to our lives as human and our essence as soul. So again, she's saying 2 things, right? Our lives as human, our essence and soul. Now, what are the 2 terms in A Course in Miracles for what she just said? Our lives as human and our essence as soul. What were the 2 words that we used in A Course in Miracles for that? Those 2 words. We used knowledge and perception. So there's 2 different worlds, and they're linked by choice, is what we understand. But let's get back to what she said. Okay, from the human perspective, we often feel things are happening to us, and we are the victim of circumstance. The soul knows everything is orchestrated here for our growth and evolution. The soul supports the human, but oftentimes the human is not receptive or aware of the soul. And then she says this is what she channeled from Nikola Tesla. Life is happening for us, not to us. She said that. Now, when my brother was murdered, it looked like a wrongdoing on the surface, and the man who took his life was the villain, and my brother the victim. On the surface, this is true. On a soul level, they agreed to this act. Choice and collapse. Potential, perception, the projection in between. So they were both in this realm of potential, both of them. On a soul level, they both projected it, mocked it up as a neat drama. Projection, collapse. Comes out, matter, energy, space-time. But anyway, so we continue. My brother lost his little girl, his only child, to leukemia when she was 5 years old. His life was never the same. part of him died with her. After his death, he came back to tell me that the forgiveness set us free from being locked up inside and that his body was no longer a prison of grief for him. He was free to be with his daughter again in the spirit world. So, was the murderer a villain or an ally? He set my brother free. Spirit tells me that no matter what happens, we can widen back enough to find the gifts in it. To forgive doesn't mean that you condone the behavior. It means that you don't want to burden yourself with resentment and victimhood. Now, this is big. Now, who's going to read this for me? So this is Alicia, and your name was Anna? Eliana. Yeah. Okay, so what does the word forgiveness come from? Do you see it? Can you read that?
Yeah.
Could you read that?
Yeah,
Is it too small?
What I think too, because when you forgive, you're not thinking really about the person you're forgiving, but for yourself, because it kills the resentment that you have, so you're free. And I learned this with life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I couldn't forget what my husband did to me, and almost 20 years later, when he was dying, I decided to call him and say that I was forgiving him. So that made me so much happier, so light.
Awesome.
So it seems that you're doing something good to the other person, but actually you're doing to yourself.
Yeah.
I will write it out from my mind. I write it out, everything he's done, and I live so much lighter.
Great.
No hate in the heart.
Wonderful. Can you read for me? Would you? The word forgiveness, is that visible?
The word forgiveness comes from the Greek term that means forgiven back, meaning not to take on the dense vibes and lower your consciousness. Give it back to the person who committed the act.
Yeah, yeah. So there we have it. The Greek term for forgiveness means forgiving back, like you were saying. Yeah, releasing it. Okay. So we're not done with projection makes perception because there's really nothing else. We got to keep thinking about what's real, how we choose, and how it projects into this. There's really nothing more, but we have to keep hammering it. All right. So here we have a guy, Brian Foster. He's a spiritist in, because of course I've been talking about all these things about spiritism, right? What's this guy doing up here? He's talking about A Course in Miracles, Ladies' Channel, and Nicola. He hasn't said a thing about spiritism, right? What is he doing up here? All right, so we got this guy, Brian Foster. He's a spiritist in like Seattle or Oregon, somewhere like that. He's written a lot of books. He's got a good YouTube channel. So he wrote some, I hope you're going to be able to hear this because he speaks a little fast and a little low, but it's really important. Luigi, what happens if you click on blame yourself, not others? Does it come up with the video? I wonder, is there a video there? I don't think there's a video there. Yeah, it's not. Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay, we get to watch a 3-minute video.
Hello, I'm Brian Foster. Today I'm talking about Spiritism. Today I'm going to talk about blame yourself, not others. The title I just said violated every woke rule. Victimhood is more important than self-discipline or responsibility or informed decisions. Our culture has tried to free everyone of any blame for anything whatsoever. What a wonderful world to live in where nothing is ever your fault and you are powerless to defend yourself in the least. Imagine being comfortable that you are perfect and that a legion of evil surrounds you and are dedicated to blocking your impending greatness and fame. That each word and sentence you wrote or speech delivered or job attempted were always misjudged, not because of your individual failings, but because of the enmity of bullies. That anyone who opposes you or even attempts to argue is evil and must be denounced and eliminated. To inhabit this world ensures failure. We are set upon this planet of atonement, where we pay for our past mistakes to learn to become a more well-rounded person, one who does not give in to envy, hatred, or anger, instead to be tolerant, understanding, and calm, and wise. Christ told us in many ways to be forgiving, loving, and humble, for only via the attitude of a child who wishes to learn and to impress his or her superiors can we gain the required lessons to improve our character to one day become a perfected soul. Whereas our current culture teaches the exact opposite. It is as if low and ignorant spirits devised the antidote to goodness by infecting the leaders of society to demonstrate the very attributes which ensure a person to be barred from the narrow door of heaven. Selfishness and pride are married to a system of victimhood which has created a generation doomed to spend time in the lower reaches when they pass over. Nonetheless, they too shall eventually rise, after multiple lives repairing the damage done in one life. The process created by God and implemented here on earth by Christ never fails. It may take thousands of years, but each soul shall comprehend one day the error of their ways and begin the long trek upwards, because each person realizes at some point in time that love, charity, fraternity, and honesty are the only methods to rise. Hence, if you have been affected by your current culture, pull away. Find new friends and a new support group. If you have watched in horror as the world crumbles around you, do not be discouraged. This too shall pass. God and Christ are never defeated. We may be impatient since our time horizon is pitifully short, but theirs is not. Learn the true state of the world, the physical and the spirit realms, and your place within it. Read the spirit realm. Spiritism has revealed the reality of our existence. God bless.
Okay, so that's just a different, that's just a different way of looking at the same idea. All right. And, back to projection makes perception here. Okay, cool. Well, at least I hope so. Okay, so, I do yoga, and reading books on yoga is nice, but it's not going to cut it, guys. You got to get out there, you got to put in the work. So luckily, A Course in Miracles has a workbook with 365 lessons. And what does 365 lessons coordinate to? Why do you think there are 365 lessons?
One for each day.
Exactly. So, guys, we got to put in some work. It's only 1 minute, but it should be very rewarding, I think. I don't have a timer. Could someone count down like 1.5 minutes? Does anyone have just a, yeah. So when, yeah, just 1.5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Even 2 minutes is fine, really. If you just put 2 minutes, it's cool. Yeah.
All right, 2 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead. And just press start. Okay, so we got 2 minutes, so it's only a 1 minute exercise. So now I'll move the slide. So, workbook exercises. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing. It is the purpose of this workbook to train your mind to think along the lines the text sets forth. The training period is 1 year. The exercises are numbered from 1 to 365. Do not undertake to do more than 1 per day. The workbook is divided into 2 main sections. The first is undoing what you see now, and then the second is the acquisition of true perception. So here we go. So guys, we're going to do it right now. So let's all do it. What we're going to do is apply this idea to everything we see and make no exceptions. Nothing I see in this room means anything. So until Sue tells us time is up, look around the room at whatever, train your mind. Nothing I see in this room means anything. So Sue, you tell us when we're done practicing. Let's go, guys. Wonderful. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. Let's see, is there anything left? Yeah, so there's some resources for further study, and you can get a lesson emailed to you every day. It'll show up in your inbox, and you can start training your mind in the way that they think once per day for 365 days. But that's pretty much all I have to say. Any comments or questions?
Have you applied that to yourself,
Which one?
to the lessons?
Yeah, I subscribed to the list, and I went through them up to probably about 50 before I got, I don't know what happened with me in terms of looking at more of them, but at about less than 50, I think, was as far as I went. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there, because the lesson does not connect to what your thought process, what your see things?
That's a good point. It may have been that I was trying to confirm what I thought I already knew instead of being an empty vessel for what it was trying to impart to me. And so when the lessons began to diverge from my expectations, I think I got less and less interested in what they were saying.
So you start to judge.
Could be. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, guys, thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Terrance. All right, so do we have, yeah, we do, we have reminders. Okay, so barbecue in the park, April 20th at 11 a.m. It's $25. You can purchase the ticket right outside to the left. It's free for children aged 12 and under. Spiritual talks, we have public meetings in English, yeah. That's where we are every Wednesday at 8:15. Channeled messages, Wednesdays arrive by 8:10. You can put your name in the front, right in the library, and you get channeled messages. They're beautiful. Fluidotherapy, magnetized water here, Wednesdays 8:15. The fraternal welcome and treatment at a distance on Thursday, 7 p.m. We have them in Portuguese and